early on that I could write well and fast, and that I could speak well, that I could argue, and that I cared about issues and causes. And so as a kid in the Bronx, I'd sometimes help out a kid who couldn't fight as well as I did. And I think that's what a good lawyer does. They fight for causes and for clients, and they do for an individual what they can't do for themselves. That's what being a lawyer is. I came from the South Bronx, and my dad was in the Army Air Force in World War II, and my mom was from the neighborhood, and they spent the war together. And unlike a lot of the people in my neighborhood, I managed to graduate from college, and that was my exit from the Bronx. And I'm married to a marvelous lady from the South, Holly Smith Flannery. I was able to become a federal prosecutor after being a law clerk, and that allowed me to practice in the highest courts in the land. And since that time, I've also been able to speak to public media about matters of law and politics and to deal with public officials. And that's made a big difference in my ability in the courtroom to understand how an issue plays in a courtroom in a public proceeding. I've appeared on TV and radio and conducted interviews with various people about the cases that I've handled. But of all the things that I do, the thing that I care the most about is representing clients, no matter how simple the case is, no matter how complex the case, acting as their agent and trusted with the cause that they care about, either to bring an action themselves or to defend against an action. And that is truly what being a lawyer is all about. Well, this is what an office looks like when you're working. This is where the real work is done. In law school, they told us for every minute in court, you should spend 5 minutes preparing. Well, sometimes it's a lot more than that, but you never know what you're going to need. And so forgive the clutter, but this is where I work. I was privileged to serve in the Senate and the House as special counsel, and one congressman, John Conyers, used to have a way of referring to me. A congressman enjoyed calling me Lawyer Flannery, and he'd call on me and ask me to give advice. And I think that's what I've been doing for about 40 years. But in order to get to the point where you can give the advice, you have to do the homework. The congressman always assumed that I had done my homework, and I've always been an overachiever, and he was right. But every case involves analyzing the facts, spotting the issues, finding the law, and seeing what you can do to maximize the gain of each client and minimize the pain. It's that simple and that difficult. If you have a problem you'd like to discuss, give us a ring at 703-771-8344.